there, I'm Ken, this is CRT, welcome to this episode. In this episode, I am going to revisit my second VIC-20 that I picked up. Now, if you don't know the history of this VIC-20, I picked up a second VIC-20, mostly to get the one key I needed for my first VIC-20 to make it complete. But this one had a much nicer case. So I switched the cases over, and then I went to try this one out, and it turns out that the power switch was broken, so I couldn't turn it on. Now I've been searching for a new power switch for it, and I've been unsuccessful. Now, if you haven't seen those first couple of videos about this, I will put a link up here and a link down there to get you started off watching those videos. But since I can't find a power switch, I've decided I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to try to either fix the power switch or I'm going to junk the power switch, so that I can actually give this thing power and test it out. So let's get started. And here is the interior of the computer. Now, unfortunately, I have some bad news in the fact that I did get the power working. Because what I did was I popped the power switch open here and I jammed it into the on position, so now it's just permanently on. I can't turn it on or off with that. But when you plug a cable into it, it now turns on. Unfortunately, I forgot to hit record on the camera when I was doing that, so I have no footage of that. So what I did is, just as a kind of a preliminary test, I plugged it into the TV to see what happens, and the main screen comes on. It shows the right amount of memory and everything, but there's no cursor. So I started doing some preliminary just snooping around the board. That's when I discovered something that is the reason I am not going to plug this in again yet. Now, these two chips right here, the big ones, are the reason that I am not going to turn this on again. Now, these two chips right here, which are UA81 and UA83, should both be 6522 chips, which are the VIA chips. And they're not. This one right here is a 6522 chip. This one right here is a 6560 chip, which is the VIC chip, which there should only be one of in this computer right here. Now this one is a 6560 chip, but also the VIC chip is probably the most expensive chip that I could see in here, so I don't want to plug it in without... I'm going to pull that 6560 out and test it in my other computer to see if it's completely fried, which it probably is. And then I'll also maybe test the 6560 chip that's actually in the right place in this one to see if it's working or not in my other computer. So I've got to pull a couple of chips out and hook up my other computer and try it out. Okay, it came out. Now I am just going to leave it sitting on the right spot so that I know which is which chip here. Now this one is out. And I'm going to desolder this wire because I have no idea. It's just a power wire that's going to be going somewhere, but it goes nowhere, so it's useless to me. Oh man, these chips are really in there. There we go. Okay. So now I have to get my other computer out, hook it up, and add some chips. Okay, here we go. First this is the chip that was in the right place on my other VIC-20. So I just got to make sure it's oriented right, which it is. Seat that down. And let's turn it on. Okay, it is a good thing that I double checked that with my magnifier before I did anything, because I had offset them by 1 pin. They're in the right place now. I've hooked a joystick up. First we'll turn it on. There we go. We are getting a screen. We are getting a flashing cursor. I don't have a keyboard hooked up, but now I will grab a cartridge and see what we can do. All right, I'm going to plug in the Penultimate Plus cartridge and see run a dead test on it, see what we get. Ooh. We're very glitchy here. What's going on? Okay, well, that seemed to work. So this gets a check mark on it. It is working. All right, now I have the 6560 chip in there that did not belong in the VIA slot. So let's see if that got fried or not. Oh, it booted up the Penultimate Plus cartridge. Well, let's go back to Utilities and try the dead test. And there we go. According to the dead test cartridge, this is working. So let's go out of here and try a game. Let's play Buck Rogers. Oop. Ah, not very good at this game. Holy cow, this is a lot harder than the ColecoVision version. Now this is a 2-for-1 test because I have not tested out this keyboard yet to see if it works. This is from the untested computer. So let's go, we're into basic. Well, the keys are obviously haven't been used in a long time. They're sticky, but they seem to be working. I'll hook the other keyboard up and see if it works better or what's going on there. Yep, everything is working good on the keyboard. Good. So this VIC chip gets a big old check mark, and I can put that into a spare parts bin. All right, I have got my VIA chip that I want to test in right here. I did, however, decide with the VIC chip, since it works, why take it out? I know the other one works too, so that one has gone into my spare parts, my spare working parts. Now we test this out. And we're getting everything we should. Again, I don't have the keyboard hooked up right now, but first things first. The Penultimate Plus cartridge. Down to utilities. And the dead test. Here we go. Okay, well, it appears that that's working. But let us try a game. I want to try one I know I can play. Here we go with Gorf. Okay, well, the joystick seems to be working in all directions. So is it just that there was the wrong chip in there? Because everything seems to be working, but we still have not tried a keyboard. So I will hook the keyboard up and see what happens. All right, there we go. And run. Everything seems to be working fine. So that chip seems to be working well. There's not much more I can do before I find a replacement chip for that. So yeah, I'll order that and then we can continue trying to fix this. So I decided as I was about to put the VIA chip back in my other board, wait a second, why don't I try this board with that VIA chip? So I got two known working VIA chips and a working VIC chip in here. So let's see what happens when I plug it in. And that is working better than before. Okay. The unfortunate thing is having to unplug and plug it back in to get any power to work, but there we go. Well, first we'll see if the joystick... Oh, something's not working quite right. Seems to be a bit of a dirty connection in the cartridge slot. Again, we will try Gorf. The colors seem a little more intensely bright on this. A little different from my other one. I don't know if that's... Well, let's try... Oops. Let us try there. See, the C on the score there was the wrong color. Let's take a look at utilities. Try the dead test. It's given a nice clear picture anyway. All right, well, there we go. I guess I've got to open up that keyboard, give it a cleaning. But this thing seems to be fully working. I just got to order the one chip for it. And then do a little bit of repair on the case. There we go. The only thing actually wrong with this board was the one chip that was not the chip that should have been there, and the power switch. So I got that power switch kind of permanently working now, but yeah, I just ordered that chip, It's on its way from China, so that's going to probably be at least a month, maybe more. So when that gets here, I can put that chip in there. I'm going to take apart this keyboard like I did with the other one, give it a good cleaning, and then, yeah, hopefully hunt down the keys that I need for this. And then I can have a second fully working VIC-20, and then I just have to fix this case. I'm thinking because, you know, it's kind of all broken, pieces are broken off of it and stuff, I might get creative with it. Maybe I'll give it a paint job or something. I haven't decided yet, but that's all in the future. The first and most important thing is getting it running, and that's mostly done. So I guess I am going to stop this video now. So I hope you enjoyed watching me do this chip swapping and figuring out that this board really does work. So if you did enjoy this, you know what you can do with the liking, the subscribing, and or the commenting below, because anything and everything you do is always greatly appreciated. But I'm going to go find another project to work on while I'm waiting for those chips to arrive. So I will see you next time.